I actually would like to know what happened to this guy, because this guy was blowing up. You didn't even know he had a career? He was a pretty like up and coming popular MMA star. But I didn't know that he ruined his career in 31 seconds. Let's see what happened. I used to see this guy everywhere, dude.
The entire world was supporting Paddy Pimblett until just 31 seconds of talking revealed he was actually super unlikable. His rapid social media growth subsequently disappeared, while the comments became so brutal he couldn't even handle it.
I can't say anything without people jumping on it. The nasty comments get to you. I don't sign into my social media anymore.
Everyone quickly decided Paddy wasn't the next big thing, which is all people could talk about during his rise to fame. This article, for example, wrote, "Paddy Pimblett is the next big thing and has the potential to be as big as Conor McGregor."
See, this is what I heard too. And I was like, oh, this guy's like, you know, he's been winning all of his matches. I mean, I kept hearing this same headline everywhere, dude.
And it's not difficult to see how the media drew this conclusion. Paddy had a similar kind of confidence.
This is my destiny. I've got the personality, I've got the look. The new king's here, lad.
With comments describing him as a likable mix of humility and arrogance. This was put on full display when he'd make a YouTube channel, gaining hundreds of thousands of views by vlogging, although it was on the topic of food that he garnered the most attention. Paddy's fighting weight was 155 pounds, yet in between matches he'd ballooned to over 200.
So you're 200 right now. What do you get to when you fight?
I weigh in at 155.
No way.
The most I've weighed is like 211.
Earning the nickname Paddy the Fatty instead of Paddy the Baddie. Hilarious how every UFC fighter has a unique personality. Paddy being an undercover fat guy is the funniest.
Do you ever miss the six-pack when you blow up between fights?
I'd rather be fat and happy than ripped, and like these people who are ripped all year round aren't happy. I'm not arsed.
Photos such as this one therefore went extremely viral, which Paddy used to his advantage to attract even more attention. All of his most popular content was on gaining or losing weight, which was funny because he'd always...
this chick right here was also really popular as well. I forgot this girl's name. I don't know if that's his girlfriend or something, but I remember she's like an MMA fighter too, if I'm not mistaken. And she was popular for a while. But yeah.
It's funny because he'd always end up making weight, not to mention he was also winning his fights easily. Paddy won his first 3 UFC matches, 2 of which during the first round, with an impressive total career record of 19 wins and only 3 losses.
I didn't even know
this
he
added
lost.
to the hype around Paddy becoming champion, although no one seemed to realize he hadn't even fought anyone ranked in the top 15. Paddy Pimblett is a lot of marketing and little skill for MMA. Paddy himself was still an unranked fighter, yet millions believed he'd be the next UFC champ purely because he'd made a couple of funny videos. Well, Paddy was given the chance to prove himself when scheduled a fight against Jared Gordon, and having just signed $1 million Barstool Sports deal,
Barstool Sports, man, best company in the world.
It seemed Paddy's public image was better than ever before. However, just 2 days prior to he and Jared's fight, Paddy began to make some critical errors. He uploaded a podcast speaking with Dana White, where it was obvious his arrogance was becoming overbearing.
I just create better content than all of you. It's mad. People say, oh, he's getting pushed. It's not. My numbers are just better than yours.
This manifested a call out of journalist Ariel Helwani.
I hate all these journalists, like Ariel Helwani in particular.
Going on a 4-minute rant about him being a terrible person.
He's a maggot. He's a lizard.
Paddy's rant seemed kind of fun and edgy until Ariel responded, destroying Paddy in return.
Everything that was said was a lie. It's lie after lie after lie after lie.
Paddy made the claim that Ariel was fired from every job he had.
Every decent job he's had, he's been sacked from.
Yet Ariel explained that he hadn't been fired from any.
Got sacked from every decent job that I have. Let's talk about the jobs that I've had.
Even displaying a tweet
Ariel
by his
said,
former boss who wrote, "We had hoped to have Ariel continue in that role and made him an offer to remain with ESPN." Next, Paddy tried to insult Ariel by saying he wasn't a journalist.
You're a content creator, Ariel. You're not a journalist. Stop lying.
To which Ariel calmly responded,
This use of the term content creator, is this supposed to be an insult? I've been trying to create content since 2006. If you're going to try to insult me by calling me a content creator, great. That's the worst thing you could say about me? Awesome. Yes, I'm a content creator, and pretty damn proud of it.
But Paddy's worst attempt at insult was saying Ariel should pay for his interviews.
He uses fighters for clicks, uses fighters to make money. Get your dough out, Ariel. Start paying people for these interviews.
Yeah.
Like you make thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds.
Yeah, Ariel has definitely got into it with a couple of UFC fighters. I'm trying to think of one in particular. Like, there's a whole compilation of Ariel just pissing off MMA fighters, but I don't know. I guess it's the way he axes the questions, but I have no idea.
Ariel responded by stating,
Does Joe Rogan pay his guests? Did Oprah pay her guests? Did Larry King pay his guests? That's not how this works. Journalists make money. Yeah, we make money. Of course. Isn't that the whole point?
Spending 1 hour and 15 minutes total dismantling all of Paddy's arguments. Ariel came with all the evidence like a lawyer. Outstanding performance. This is how you absolutely obliterate someone. No smack talk, just facts. Ariel's video gained 29,000 likes and only 900 dislikes, while Paddy's initial call out received a much less favorable ratio, as well as comments such as, lost all respect for Paddy, throwing Ariel under the bus just to get brownie points from Dana. Paddy crying that Ariel makes money off fighters, while sitting across from Dana was the most hilarious thing. Who would have thought Paddy's biggest knockout loss would come at the hands of Ariel Helwani, weakening Paddy's image before his biggest fight so far. Paddy waltzed into the match as confident as ever, with the audience expecting he'd beat Jared Gordon easily, although this isn't what would happen. Paddy spent the entire fight eating punch after punch from Jared, and by the end it seemed obvious that Jared Gordon had won. Out of 24 scores by the media, 23 called Jared the winner, and in a Twitter poll asking the public who'd won, 80% believed it was Jared.
Don't tell what? Paddy, oh not dog. What? Paddy won that? Oh my goodness, they robbed this poor man.
By some miracle, the judges ruled in Paddy's favor, completely surprising everybody.
What?
Huge L for our judges on that one. How? Why the judges did my guy J Flash Gordon MMA like that?
Everyone in our building was like, damn, Paddy lost.
The entire world was quickly turning on Paddy, which
sometimes the judges do piss me off with some of these UFC fights because it's obvious, man. John Jones, he's had a couple of close calls. I think he's maybe had 1 or 2 fights that could have gone to the other opponent. But, I mean, I think it does depend on, like, how likable you are as a fighter. So that definitely played into like their decision to make him the winner in this particular fight.
He could have turned around with a humble post-fight interview, although over the course of only 31 seconds, Paddy instead did the opposite. Joe began the interview by stating, "I'm here with the winner, Paddy the Baddy. Paddy, that was a close one," to which Paddy responded with, "No, it wasn't, that wasn't close. You just controlled me in the third. But you know what, Joe? Have you consulted me manager and seen how much you're paying me for this interview?" To which Paddy was met with silence.
What?
Joe then continued, "You don't think it was a close fight at all?" To which Paddy responded, "No, not at all. I won the first 2 rounds and then coasted in the third. I knew I was 2 rounds up, so I didn't want to do nothing dangerous and risk losing the fight. I knew for a fact I'd won the first 2 rounds pretty easily, and demanding fight of the night as he walked off the stage definitely didn't help anything. I can't believe Paddy wanted fight of the night. He already got gift of the night. What an arrogant guy. To say it wasn't close after he just got gifted the decision."
The thing is, there's a big difference between being confident and being arrogant. I always say this because I see it so often, man. Arrogance is disgusting to me, but having confidence is, I feel like, is an honorable trait that everybody would love to have. It's like sometimes I meet people who just go overboard with their arrogance, man, and I can't stand people like that.
This was honestly in the top 5 worst robberies I've seen, and his arrogant attitude after it is just making him look like a pleb. Paddy then went into a press conference where his arrogance became even worse.
Everyone's got an opinion, lad. Opinions are arseholes. You know what I mean? Everyone's got one. I know I won that fight, simple as. I deal in facts, lad, and everyone talks about me, lad. That's how they stay relevant. people mention me.
And despite Jared Gordon himself tweeting, "I was robbed and everyone knows it," Paddy still went into more interviews refusing to show humility.
The other person won. You don't see that at all from any others.
No.
The other problem was that people had realized Paddy wasn't as skilled as they thought.
There was a real belief after that fight, okay, Paddy's not as good as we thought he was.
Now sure, he could easily knock me out in under 3 seconds, but talks of him being champion was still a couple of years too early. Paddy looked like a journeyman. He's clearly not ready for the top 15. I could care less if I ever see him in a fight again, and apparently neither did the rest of Paddy's fans, as he began to lose thousands of followers per month. Additionally, people uploaded videos such as Paddy the Baddie getting rocked by unranked fighters, and Paddy Pimblett all losses in
2.5 million views. God damn. The thing about it is, if you're gonna ride that arrogant persona, only few people can do that. Like Conor McGregor, I think he is one of the few people that can have that level of like arrogance. I mean, the whole like Conor McGregor era was like pretty crazy to watch. He was able to put butts in seats. I mean, the pay-per-view fights were crazy. I mean, most of his fights when he was on that run was like crazy. And I thought he was pretty arrogant, but I do think that shit can really turn on you if you're not careful. You definitely got to back up with what you say with the fights.
MMA, conveniently just days after Paddy ruined his
you know,
image. Paddy then began to realize he'd made a massive mistake.
The amount of times I've been told I lost that fight. The last year has been quite hard, to be honest, lad. The amount of people that have just been giving me hell on socials and online and stuff like that, know what I mean? I was the low-hanging fruit that it was easy to jump on the hate bandwagon at the time, so everyone did it.
And all of a sudden, this statement,
"I'm always gonna have this media and this big bubble around me whenever I turn up to fight,"
was looking a lot less likely. He believed that his next fight could fix all his problems.
When I beat Tony Ferguson, lad, everyone will jump back on the bandwagon.
Although this didn't really happen. You see, Paddy was scheduled to fight Tony Ferguson, who'd lost all 6 of his previous matches. Paddy therefore recognized that there wasn't much glory in beating him.
When I win, people are going to be like, "Oh, he was on a 6-fight losing streak anyway, he's finished anyway."
Although ending the fight with a win was definitely better than losing. This time, Paddy gave a much more humble post-fight interview.
He's one of the toughest men out there. Hats off to him, he's an absolute legend.
Leading to comments such as "officially off the Paddy hate train." Couldn't help to notice how determined he was, and humility goes a long way.
It does.
Now, welcome to the UFC, Paddy.
Humility goes a long way. A long way, man.
Therefore gained back 300,000 followers, although it didn't restart the hype train like Paddy might have wanted. Others have suggested it feels like the spark has completely left him, although at the age of 29 he still has plenty of time to prove himself, albeit now with a much more grounded perspective.
I'll probably never answer questions again in a post-fight interview about the actual fight until I've watched it back. In my own head, I'd done well in that fight, and then I watched it back and it was a completely different fight to what I had in my head.
So what it looks like is he got extremely humbled by social media. I mean, it's good to have confidence, but don't be arrogant. That can do you in.